Okay, so for my cosmic friends, this video is devoted to Pluto's ingress into Aquarius, which starts November 19th, and which is tomorrow. So it's it's going to stay there for 20 years. You can see up here in the chart up at the top here. So it begins 12:40 p.m. Tuesday, November 19th, and it lasts until about March 8th, 2043, where Pluto will then dip into Pisces. But then it's supposed to not completely stay until January 19th, 2024. It'll then be in completely into Pisces for that journey until 2066. I won't be here, you guys. So it's important that you have this information ahead of time. I mean, I know I won't be on the planet in 2066. I don't even know about 2043, honestly. So you just need to remember with Pluto, it's an elliptical orbit. So you can see right now, or as of, well, tomorrow, it's at 0 degrees still. It's just 0, of Aquarius. And the important thing to remember is that with the elliptical orbit, that means that they can't totally predict exactly, degrees and dates and when things line up. So we have to just keep tracking and trusting also that our astrology programs will update. But if you have, like, for instance, if you happen to have a big old ephemeris like this, it's a mess. I've had it for years, which nobody buys anymore. I mean, I think it was $50 or something. And the reason we don't buy them anymore is because they print, and then we get there at the date and we're looking at the date and it's like, that doesn't line up with where things are. So if you have one of those and you go by that, just know that when it comes to Pluto and Eris, which I don't even know if Eris is in that book, they will not line up. Well, Eris, I don't even know if Eris is elliptical or not. If anybody knows that, let me know. I haven't studied up that far with Eris. But anyway, she's more powerful than Pluto. She's here at 24 degrees of Aries. She won't make it into Taurus until 2048. She takes 556 to 558 years to get around the zodiac. So she's been in Aries since 1926. And apparently she's supposed to stay there until 2048, or not make it to Taurus until 2048. So with that in mind, before I focus on Pluto and Mars and the Pluto ingress into Aquarius, and this shouldn't take too long because this is the only thing that I'm going to be reading on. What we have going on is the nodal axis and Eris, and then Chiron's in there as well, but the nodal axis being Aries, ruled by Mars, Libra, ruled by Venus. It's like we have an opposition between Mars and Venus. Mars is known as, and I don't want to scare you with using any words like this, but, the god of war. But it's a war for independence because this is, Aries. We're talking our existence. Independence, existence, trailblazing, asserting our unique individuality, which is also a part of Aquarius too, when it comes to individuation and your uniqueness. And then over here on the, on the south node, the past side, we have Libra, which is ruled by Venus. It's very relationship-oriented, but then, of course, justice, fairness, and equality are issues. So we are balancing out those two polarities. Mars wants to move forward, is willing to fight. Mars activates. Mars rules the military. Mars will fight. Mars will compete. Mars wants to win, right? And if you're a younger person, the Mars, wherever the nodal axis is and wherever Mars is transiting here in Leo, you're going to have probably a little more sexual energy coming through that you're going to have to, all of life is just, it's that power management issue. Pluto's power, Mars is lots of energy. We have to manage our power. And we also have to know, we have to feel into our life force to feel when our power, our life force is connecting into negative pleasure, like negativity, like anger that isn't used correctly, right? Anger management, right? We all heard enough about that, right? There are anger management courses that are court-ordered for some people. So that's a thing to keep in mind when it comes to relationships and Mars, with the nodal axis here. And then also to keep in mind that the nodes always go, I should go this way, backwards. The planets are transiting this way, counterclockwise. The nodes are going this way. But the east-west axis, the important thing to remember is that the nodal axis is headed back towards 29 degrees of Virgo here and 29 degrees of Pisces over here in the north node. So when we get closer to that nodal shift will happen on January 11th, 2025. And when we get closer to that, before then, I'll do a video so that you can fully embrace that change, because that will be a big change. But for now, it's about moving forward without war. Moving forward with a strong, healthy boundary, though, to go in the direction that you want, but being, kind and fair and just. Now, our challenge with Pluto in Aquarius, so Pluto, again, the planet of power, but also the planet on a soul level is transformation. So we could literally coin Jeffrey Wolf Green, who was the first evolutionary astrologer to write a book titled Pluto, The Journey of the Soul. And that he focused, that's where I got turned on with the nodes. Now, Vedic and Jyotish, astrology, they've always, used the nodes, the nodal axis, but I think that it's different, the different signs, definitely different house system. It's not round, it's like these triangles and a big rectangle. I have a hard time relating to it, and I kept using it in my chart when I was, younger, trying to figure out which fit me, and I landed with Western because the other just didn't seem to fit. I tried. I tried. A few things would, but the whole, no. And especially when transits appeared, no. But some things, like the doshas, or dashas, I think is the way you pronounce it, there would be things here and there. So maybe you can work with both if you want, but that's neither here nor there for this Western or journey of Western astrology using tropical, and I use Placidus when it comes to personal readings, but this one is set to 0 degrees Aries so that you can see the natural zodiac setup. And I don't know where you live, so of course it needs to be there. But all of these transits going on, you can put into your chart, into your natal chart. So Pluto, again, representing power and transformation of the soul, will bring up things especially when you hit that 0 degrees. We're out of Capricorn, right? So we're out of the power being pushed down upon us. But now with Pluto in Aquarius, the dark side will sometimes come to light. Like when Pluto was in closing up Sag and opening up to Capricorn, we had the Wall Street crash. We had the countrywide debacle, and Yeah, that was hell and back for years. I mean, 3-4 years, people suffered. So, and we're still recovering, you know, sometimes 10 years later. But so anyway, let's focus on Aquarius. So, well, actually Pluto first. We need to really get clear on what this planet's about. It will bring things up into the light that was previously buried. Okay, so you have to remember that by spiritual law, you need to understand that if things aren't getting worse, it's that we're shining the light on the darkness. The darkness was always there. Planet Earth is an Earth school of which, you know, we have the darkness and the light. We have both. Now, where you were born, you know, the origins from which you hail are 100% light and bliss and love. You can't even have a negative thought from those realms. But we incarnate here on Earth to work through our wrong conclusions, our misconceptions about ourselves and life. And so we will come in with all these different false beliefs. Now, we will be humbled with a Pluto transit. It will help to strip away and eliminate wherever we are not empowered and where we are trying, or where others are trying to, you know, take away our power, believing in a false, there you go, with the, you know, the misconception, the wrong conclusion that if they have the power, that means I don't. You know, that either or dualistic split, that is not truth. That is not the way it works. The way it works is positive power, positive, the way that we can live in a positive relationship with the universe and with each other, most of all each other, has to do with not giving our power away, but also honoring their power. This is where the polar opposite of Aquarius, being Leo, comes to bear. Leo is, you know, in the light, has everything to do with noticing other people, expressing themselves, and oh, look at that, especially with children, you know, look at you. Wow. And having the courage to express ourselves is a major, you know, part of Leo. It's ruled by the sun. It's very creative. There's pain, though, when there's a lack of self-confidence, usually from being ridiculed as a child, not being recognized as a child, not being encouraged as a child, being neglected as a child, which is a form of abuse. Most people don't understand how you know, challenging that can be to overcome. And with Mars in Leo now, and it's going to go retrograde, I'll be doing a different video on that. For now, I just want to focus on Pluto. And then coming up after that, I'm going to focus on the Mercury retrograde and then the Mars retrograde. So this opposition that we've been in is going to continue. I just have the exact aspects, or the aspects set on a really tight orb. But, well, here, I'll show you. If I go to standard, see that opposition that's there from Mars to Pluto? And Mars will be going retrograde. I think it's December 6th or 7th. I have to, I have that in another chart. But anyway, I'll do that soon. And so this is, you know, this opposition it's challenging. It has everything to do with our creative self-expression and how much we will fight for it, or not. You know, maybe it gets pushed out in other ways. Maybe the energy is not used to the best, to the fullest of just your creative self-expression. On the dark side, we have narcissism at both ends, and that's my main point here. I don't want you guys to feel like everything is going to be just great because Pluto is now, you know, stationing into Aquarius. Like I said, Pluto tends to bring up the darkness in the early degrees. And I want you to hold on to your light and your love, your Leo love, your creative self-expression. And I want you to especially honor the light that's in others and do a lot of networking. Aquarius is great when it comes to networking. You know, Aquarius rules the 11th house. The 11th house is all about networking, making connections. It's really, really beautiful for being sociable, for technological advances. It'll be good for AI as long as we're not using it in the wrong way, you know, to lie, which is exactly what happened in our election. So, you know, and there's the Jupiter-Mercury opposition that I'll talk about when I get to the Mercury retrograde video. But for this one, I just want to focus on Pluto so that you can really get that feel of, you know, power that either empowers and involves and cleanses the soul, most of all, or corrupts and buries and pushes things out in a way that is obsessive and extreme, and it has mass influence. You know, non-negotiable transformations can sometimes be Pluto, where the soul just has to stop because the spirit, no matter what, our spirits are always just fine. There's a difference between the spirit and the soul. The spirit is always just fine, but it will take out the soul if the soul is not doing the work, and because it will always protect itself. The spirit will always protect itself. So spiritual evolution is kind of a misnomer. It's soul evolution. The spirit doesn't need to evolve. It's already, you know, it's already there. It's all just about working your way back to your original level of perfection and purity. That's all it is. So keep that in mind. And then here we are in Aquarius. Now we have to think about that. Now on the bright side, it's about innovation and original ideas and tolerance. But there's, you know, it's tolerance versus bigotry. I see it on the highest levels of the law of brotherhood and sisterhood. But the sad thing is that some people like to, you know, move forward in life with their intellectual pride and their rebellion, and they want to be at the top, and they don't want anybody else at the top with them. They want to be at the top of the top, and they're always going to fight and fight and fight because they're bigots. So we are going to see bigotry. We are going to see people who are detached from their hearts. We are going to see people who are, you know, just so opinionated and quick, really quick with those opinions. And extremist, fanatical. And then we're also going to see the humanitarians, right? Because Aquarius is all about humanity. Uranus is all about humanity. Humanity waking up and into self-preservation. What do we have our faith in? What are our, you know, principles that we have faith in? So there's that. And then with the opposition coming from Mars, and Mars that is going to go retrograde all the way back into Cancer, and again, I'll talk about that later, but the deal is we're going to cover some of that same territory that we were already in, you know, during the election. And we do have innovative technologies that can change things, but government, ruled by Saturn, is very slow to respond. And, you know, they don't ever want to admit, government they would never want to admit that we really didn't have a free and fair election. At least that's my opinion, based on the research I've been doing. And, you know, I mean, when you have Russia calling out Trump and saying, well, on one level, he's humiliating him by releasing nude images of his wife all over social media. And on another level, he's calling him out saying he did, let's see, hold on, I have the exact, just so it's here on this video. Do I have it here? Oh, please. Oh, yeah, here it is. Right under this huge ephemeris. Here's what he said. This came out on Russian state media. The election campaign is over. To achieve success in the election, Donald Trump relied on certain forces to which he has corresponding obligations. As a responsible person, he will be obliged to fulfill them. And this was quoted by Nikolai Patrushev. There's the proof. That was put out on state, Russian media. So there you go, Russian state media. There's proof right there. China was involved. I'm sure China was involved. I'm sure Elon Musk was involved. And so if you don't believe that, that's okay. I'll eat crow later if it proves that I'm wrong, but all I know is that the government never wants to admit that we can't have a free and fair election or that we had any involvement. And you're going to see all these print and online media operations or media companies that will double down and say there was no, meanwhile we need to have recounts. Meanwhile, it's an act of war to interfere in an election. So Biden could exercise his Presidential Emergency Act, secret powers that all presidents have. Thank God Trump never did it. But he probably knew he didn't have a leg to stand on. So anyway, back in 2020, he did the insurrection instead. That's what he did. Probably because he never would he refused to get the presidential daily briefings. He probably didn't know that he had those powers, and nobody told him. So there's that. So back to the Pluto-Mars polarity. Again, Mars moves energy. Mars will fight. Mars will try to protect itself. Pluto will double down and hold. Hold for humanity, I hope. I hope that's what it's about. And the opposition aspect will bring through a confrontation. Whatever Biden does on it, I can't say yet. I'm still reading on him with cards every day and uploading that way. And I know a lot of people have written to him. It's easy to do. You go to the whitehouse.gov website. You can write to he and Kamala. But anyway, the oppositions bring confrontations. There's a mirror on one side and the other. One's powerful over here. It's in alignment with the people if the people will push, right? But with Mars and Leo and Aquarius, can both of those polarities on the dark side can be major narcissism, malignant narcissism. The likes of Elon Musk and Donald John Trump have yet to. I don't know if they've yet to release or not, but I get the feeling that they're in for a battle. Now, oppositions, when the confrontation is, when it's kind of like you're in a bad relationship and you're like, is this a red flag? Is it, first you get the yellow flags, or you might get one little red flag, and then you get another one and then another one. And after about 6 of them, you're like, oh, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And then what do? Well, that confrontation, those mirrors in relationship to each other, will create a breakthrough. and fracture that reality, and you'll be gone. You'll be like, I'm not engaging in that. I'm just going to hold my light for humanity and let these, people work this out. Hopefully. But we have to fight. We have to do our part. We have to stand up. Once you figure out what you believe in, do your own research. Please don't take my word for it. Do your own research. But you're not going to get it from print. You're going to have to get it. Well, you can get some of it. But the thing is, behind the scenes are where the secrets lie. It's going to be 5 Eyes, 14 Eyes, Interpol, right? NSA, CIA, all the alphabet agencies, and then put that out into the world, the whole world. We have so many of these agencies, and they will have that information. So hopefully there will be a tremendous amount of global support. And that would especially be true when it comes to Uranus and Neptune. There's the global support there. In Neptune and Pisces really does push it way out there. And with the trine to the sun this day that Pluto moves into Aquarius, this is good. This is very good. This is a fast flow of energy that is secret. The sun in Scorpio, and the sun at 28 degrees of Scorpio is that blossoming, blooming of secrets. Right down to secret, I'm trying to find the right word. Well, it could be something that helps us transcend with Neptune, and also in Pisces as well. But Neptune has that ability to just link things together in a way that is, connected to a higher vision. So somebody's got the higher vision, and then there can be that sharing of secrets. And then also to think, here we have to connect, Uranus, because it rules Aquarius. And Uranus also connects to discoveries, flashes of insight, catalytic things, because all the facts are coming together. Maybe by the time the moon progresses over the next few days, progresses into Virgo, we'll have a lot of facts that come through. But, Biden's at the G20. I think he's still in Brazil, and I think it goes to the 19th. So, yeah, I have to thank one of my viewers for letting me know that, because I didn't take the time to look that up myself. But I think he's in Brazil. The whole thing is in Rio de Janeiro, and the meeting, I think it's all done on the 19th. So that would be this Tuesday. He has to get home. He has to recuperate. I could imagine that I know he met with Xi Jinping, and I doubt it went well. But I know he met with Japan, and I can't remember who else. He probably has met with a lot of people, and some behind closed doors secretly. So I believe he's received the downloads. He currently has Uranus transiting through his 6th house of service, and health, moving towards his 7th house cusp over here. So, yeah, that would bring it through. That would definitely help. So, okay, I think that's it for now. There could be more that'll come through later. Well, of course there will be. Every time I do a video, Pluto's always going to be involved. So other aspects, as transits happen, will continue to come through. But I just want to, hold space for the love, the generosity, the creative self-expression for humanity, for all of humanity, without the prejudice, without the bigotry, without the, I want a high level of reason to come through where people understand that we're all better if we're together, if we are helping each other out, if we are loving each other, things work better. Then we're all in this benign circle of love, which is just completely self-perpetuating. You know, it's like when you first get the wheels of your car going at first. Well, I don't know, cars are so damn fast nowadays. Maybe that's not a good, okay, let's take a boat. Let's take a big ship. It takes a while to get it turning in the right direction, and then once you get going and you're sailing, then you can get, or you know, the whatever motors, engines, the big engines are, and maybe sails as well, are going, and you're headed, and you're going. It's like it goes faster. It's like the wheels on a train. Same thing there, I suppose. But a ship is probably the slowest I can think of. Let me know if you guys think of something, a better way to explain this. But you know, just that self-perpetuating energy. And this can happen for us individually. It's just you start on a path, you get going, and if it's investigative, you've got that. If it's your high level of reason, you've got that. If it's your intuition, you have that. If you're open to dream time, if you sit down and meditate, you get pieces and pieces and pieces, and then suddenly everything can come together in a cohesive whole. And there I'm talking Aquarius and Pisces. And again, the North Node's gonna be in Pisces after January 11th. But something needs to happen when it comes to our vote with this election, and Biden doing his, if he would exercise his secret presidential emergency act documents that he has. It has to be done before December. I would say 17th. There's a deadline on December 11th and another one on the 17th with the Electoral College. And yeah, if he doesn't do something before then, I don't know if it's going to happen. So then again, maybe something can happen just at any time, even after that. But it would behoove him to do it like right away or within the next couple of weeks. So, yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, there's so much more. I could go into every aspect of this chart, but I really just wanted to cover the Pluto, and especially Pluto's ingress into Aquarius, but especially the opposition with Mars. But, you know, like you can see here, we've got the trine from the Sun to Neptune. We have the inconjunct from Mercury to the Moon today, or the day tomorrow when this is happening. I'm doing this the day before. The inconjunct brings in adjustments to our safety and security. I'm thinking just on an election level. On a personal level, you're going to be more psychic, and you're going to make adjustments because of that information coming through. The square to Chiron, that's in there with the moon as well, right? It's like, what about me? What about us? What about our existence? What about our independence? Right? So, yeah. So these are strong because these are, you know, exact aspects going on. And then still, one last thing. Well, two actually. The square from Eris to Ceres, that's another, like if we don't rise up to that challenge, and if Biden doesn't rise up to that challenge, this is grief and separation from power, physical power for us all. The sesquisquare from Uranus to Venus, this is a detour for women if Trump gets in, a detour for safety. I mean, we're talking not just women, but anybody who wants to live their life in harmony. And you know, harmony and the ability to create the life that you want that brings like some kind of gratification, because Venus above all is trying to get, you know, gratification. But Venus is about our self-worth. And our attitudes towards women or any, you know, feminine stereotype, or, you know, people holding the space for the divine feminine, no matter who you are and how you identify. So Detours. There. Disruptions and detours because information comes out, because we wake up. You're honest, the change agent. Same thing with from Mars up to Mercury. Mercury ruling the vote. Mercury is about to go retrograde. We are in the Mercury retrograde storm, so we will go back over the area where we had the vote. You know, we will go back towards that. We will be reevaluating, right? Retrogrades are always about reevaluating something, re-experiencing, renewing at some point as well. Connected to Mars, again, that energy that could create the detour, because it's like, well, we're not going to take this. We're going to fight, right? We're going to fight this atrocity that has happened. And then, most of all, this has been in play, this aspect of the architect from the nodes, south node over to the north node, Mars down here at the hinge point, the bucket point, like kind of the handle, and Mars will be going backwards well, it doesn't really, none of the retrograde planets, they don't go backwards. It's our relationship on Earth with the planets and their motion. So it's kind of an illusion thing, you know, like if you're in an elevator and you can't figure out if it's going up or down, you know, things like that. So anyway, opportunity to revisit the past and move forward in an independent way is what this hinges on. That's what it's really all about. So, okay, well, with that, I think I will close this up, and I'll be back as soon as I can with the Mercury retrograde video. Okay, bye.